Welcome to Breaking News to Trading Moves. We are opening up the financial outlook that Salesforce recently presented. It's kind of a roadmap laying out what the next, 6 years might look like.
Yeah, it's a pretty bold stake in the ground, really.
Mm.
The main thing for you, listening in and following this space, is that Salesforce is formally projecting its revenue to go past $60 billion. That's by fiscal year 2030.
60 billion. That number alone, it says something. But what we really need to focus on is the engine, right? What's driving it.
Exactly.
And this growth, it's not like powered by just hiring more salespeople. It's specifically coming from their artificial intelligence stuff, Agentforce and the data cloud features.
That's right. And it's worth noting, too, this $60 billion number. It's based purely on what they expect organically.
Okay.
So it doesn't include any potential boost from that pending Informatica acquisition.
Yeah.
Which, tells you they feel pretty good about their core strategy, regardless of M&A.
They seem to be putting their money where their mouth is, too. Didn't we see a big stock buyback announced right after this outlook came out?
We did. A new $7 billion stock buyback program. That's a classic signal, isn't it? Shows high confidence inside the company about hitting those long-term goals.
Absolutely. And if you kind of work backwards, figure out what it takes to get from here to $60 billion by 2030,
Yeah.
it suggests, sustained double-digit organic growth all the way through fiscal 26 to 2030. That's a tough climb for a company this big already.
It really is. So if they're actually going to hit that mark, they're making a huge bet on, two main things.
Which are?
First, using AI to upsell customers across their whole cloud suite.
Mm-hmm.
And second, really pushing customers to adopt deeper data integration using their data cloud product.
Okay. So when a massive platform player like Salesforce sets out a growth plan like this, it inevitably shakes things up. It creates clear winners and, clear losers in the whole ecosystem around them.
Precisely. So our job today is basically to walk through that, identify the companies that look set to benefit the most from Salesforce pushing this accelerated roadmap, and also those that suddenly find themselves facing, tougher competition.
All right, let's start with the upside then. The companies that get a lift from this. When Salesforce goes all in on an AI-first future like this, which other platforms, which partners become absolutely essential for them?
Yeah, good question. We've kind of grouped the winners into three buckets. The first one is foundational, data and AI platforms.
Okay, makes sense.
The thinking here is pretty straightforward, actually. Salesforce's focus on data cloud. It's all about activating data, right? Making it usable for AI, basically in real time.
Right.
But for a lot of really big companies, data governance regulations,
Mm-hmm.
they often require that the main data warehouse lives outside the CRM system.
Ah, okay. So Salesforce can build the pipes, the connectors, but they can't just force everyone to dump all their sensitive governed data into the Salesforce cloud itself.
Exactly. So their strategy actually boosts the need for specialized, high-performance external data warehouses, the kind data cloud can just plug into smoothly.
Gotcha. So who benefits there?
Well, that's where companies like Snowflake, ticker SNOW, and MongoDB, ticker MDB, come into play. They benefit directly. And there's more to it.
Oh, yeah.
Their AI stuff, like Agentforce, needs databases that can handle vector embeddings. That's the special format AI models use to sort of understand relationships in data. It's not just basic storage. It's performance-critical infrastructure. And Salesforce often relies on partners like these to provide that bit efficiently.
That makes a lot of sense. It's sort of an architectural dependency for them then. But hang on, if Salesforce is pushing data cloud so hard, why not just build all this capability themselves? Are these other companies just faster, or is it just too complicated?
Well, it's a bit of both, really. The complexity is definitely huge.
Okay.
But maybe more importantly, enterprise data is almost always multi-cloud these days. Customers are probably already using Snowflake for analytics across their whole business, not just the sales part. Salesforce kind of has to meet the data where it already lives. So making data cloud work well with these existing platforms is, absolutely critical for its success.
Okay, that clears that up. So moving up a layer from the data platforms, let's talk about the folks who actually put these new strategies into action. Category 2. Implementation and integration services.
Yeah, the analysis here points out that a bigger, more complex Salesforce revenue base, especially one driven by fancy new AI features, it creates this intense demand for expertise. These aren't simple software updates we're talking about.
No, I guess not.
When companies start using Agentforce, they're basically redesigning whole business processes, like how customer service tickets get handled or how sales outreach sequences are managed. It's fundamental stuff.
That sounds less like just an IT project and more like a full-on business transformation.
That's exactly right. And that means big companies need highly specialized consulting help. They need significant migration assistance, custom AI rollouts, that kind of expertise.
And that's where the big consulting firms come in.
That's where they step in. They handle the complexity for these large enterprise clients. So you see clear benefits for firms like Accenture, ticker ACN, and Cognizant, ticker CTSH.
Right. They're like the armies needed to actually execute these complex rollouts on a large scale, making sure the new AI features actually lead to, real business results.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay, so that brings us to our third and final group of winners. This seems like the most fundamental layer for any AI push,
Yeah.
the AI compute and tooling suppliers.
Yeah, this one feels almost obvious, but let's just trace the connection explicitly. The rollout of more AI features, especially the autonomous stuff in Agentforce, that means constant, ongoing use of AI models. And we should probably differentiate here between training the models and running them, which is called inference. Training is heavy duty, but you do it periodically. Inference is running the trained model all the time.
Ah.
Every customer interaction, every automated response, every proactive suggestion Agentforce makes, that requires inference. And across the entire Salesforce customer base, that's high-volume inference.
Okay, so that constant high-volume need for compute power,
Yeah.
it directly drives up demand for partner cloud infrastructure and specifically the chips that power it all.
Which brings us straight to NVIDIA, ticker NVDA, and Advanced Micro Devices, ticker AMD. Their GPUs, their graphics processing units, are the absolute backbone for this stuff.
So Salesforce hitting that $60 billion target is now partly riding on the ability of these chip companies to keep innovating and, crucially, keep supplying the hardware.
Absolutely. Delivering the performance that makes AI practical and usable for the end customer depends on it.
All right, that covers the upside pretty well. Now we've got to look at the other side of the coin. The company's facing maybe some tougher times because of this aggressive AI and data strategy from Salesforce. Let's shift gears to the competitive landscape.
Okay. We can start with companies offering point solution sales and marketing software as a service, SaaS tools.
Right.
These are companies that historically did well by solving one specific narrow problem that maybe Salesforce's big general platform didn't cover perfectly.
Like specialized lead generation tools or very specific sales assistance features, maybe complex routing logic.
Exactly that kind of thing. The rationale here is if Salesforce starts building sophisticated AI-first capabilities directly into its main clouds. Think automated lead scoring that's actually good, or hyper-personalized sales prompts generated automatically.
Then the need for a separate single-purpose tool starts to shrink. Right.
It shrinks rapidly. This puts pressure on companies like HubSpot, ticker HUBS, and ZoomInfo, ticker ZI. Their whole model relies on customers needing that specialized function outside the main CRM. If the CRM suddenly does, say, 80% of that job automatically, well, those point solutions could start looking redundant.
But hold on a second. HubSpot, for instance, they have a really strong position in the mid-market, right? In the small business space. Places where Salesforce maybe hasn't always been the top choice. Are they really under immediate threat? Or is this pressure mostly at the big enterprise level?
That's a really fair point, and it definitely adds some nuance. HubSpot's strength in the mid-market does give them some insulation, for sure.
Okay.
However, Salesforce's strategy is explicitly about making AI accessible up and down their product stack. That means even their offerings for smaller businesses are going to get smarter. So while it might not be a direct customer swap overnight,
It's more like a future arms race.
exactly. HubSpot now has to invest heavily in integrating its own powerful AI just to keep pace. That means their R&D spending likely goes way up, trying to counter Salesforce's built-in platform advantage.
Okay, that frames the challenge well. Let's move to the second category of companies feeling the pressure. Communications and workflow platforms. Salesforce owns Slack, obviously, and integrating Slack seems key to this whole Agentforce idea.
That's right, and that's where the workflow tension comes in. If Agentforce uses Slack as its main interface, meaning these autonomous software agents can chat, execute tasks, trigger next steps, all directly within Slack.
Then that tighter integration makes relying on external communication APIs or other workflow tools less necessary.
Precisely. If the whole automated process from the CRM record update to the Slack notification and action stays entirely within the Salesforce ecosystem.
It starts to squeeze out companies that used to handle those intermediary steps.
Exactly. This could put pressure on companies like Twilio, ticker TWLO, which provides specialized communication APIs. And Potentially Atlassian, ticker TEEAM, known for its workflow and collaboration tools, which might now seem less integrated than the native Salesforce Slack combination.
Okay. And finally, category 3. The other big players, the legacy CRM and customer experience or CX suites, these are the giants competing head-to-head for the biggest enterprise deals.
Yeah, this is more of a direct zero-sum competition. When large enterprises decide to consolidate their tech stacks, they're often picking one main platform partner for the next 5, maybe 10 years.
So Salesforce putting out this story about returning to double-digit growth, powered by a convincing AI narrative. It just heats up the competition during those critical decision moments.
It really does. It intensifies the fight during those crucial CX and CRM consolidation cycles.
Essentially, Salesforce is crafting this narrative that says, hey, we're not the old guard. We are the future of AI-driven enterprise software. And that story itself is a competitive tool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It directly impacts the other large platform vendors fighting for that same long-term enterprise spend. Specifically, you could argue this puts more pressure on Microsoft, ticker MSFT, and Oracle, ticker ORCL, particularly in the core CRM battleground. Salesforce is making it harder for them to pitch their own growth stories and win those big, sticky contracts.
So if we try to boil down this whole analysis for you, the listener, the main takeaway seems to be this. These big enterprise platform companies are now using AI and data integration not just for their own growth,
Right.
but strategically to define the very edges of their ecosystems.
Yeah, it's almost like an architectural land grab, isn't it? It shapes demand, creating these high-value partnerships with specialized services and data platforms on one side.
And on the other side, it creates some serious competitive threats to smaller, specialized tools that might become less necessary as the core platform gets smarter and does more.
Well said.
This brings up something important for you to think about after this. Consider just how closely tied a software company like Salesforce's multi-year financial goals now are to the performance, the innovation, and even the supply chain stability of completely external companies like GPU makers and specialized data warehousing services. It's quite interconnected.
It really is. And before we wrap up, we absolutely must state clearly that the analysis provided today is not financial advice. It's also not a recommendation to buy or sell any of the securities we mentioned.
That's right. These observations are purely the opinion of the author of the material we reviewed today.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us on Breaking News to Trading Moves. We look forward to talking to you next time.